are looking at the market this morning, and it is uptrending, and we have almost touched the top of this channel. The purple line right here is this purple line right here, and that is the channel that I drew. And so it's a little bit of a tricky sort of a day because it's still uptrending, but I do think that we are nearing the top and it's going to turn over. So went ahead and got into a short up here, and it does look like it's dropping nicely. It is slightly concerning, I have to say, this morning. I think when the market first kind of opened this morning at pre-hours, it shot up quite a bit and then it dropped back down again. But that big jump right there, that's a little bit concerning to me, that we have a lot of bullish momentum still. However, the MACD is looking really good for a short, so I'm very hopeful. Though, trading this only, this big of a drop is only $12.50. So you got to remember our numbers are going to be different. We're aiming for, between $15 and $20 a trade, and sometimes even smaller, like this one. But all right, so I was also just kind of analyzing while I was sitting here because it's a really, really slow day today. I was kind of analyzing. Look at the MACD here. The peak of the MACD, and then the peak of the lines on the MACD here, and that happens over and over again. So if you are going to get into a short position, just remember, I have to remember, I'm not looking necessarily at the lines down here, because the highest points are usually, they are where these lines are, and that's quite different. Like if you had gotten in a short right here, that would not have worked out very well. And you can see again over here, here's the peak of this, and then later is the peak of that. And the difference is quite a bit different. So we've got to remember, this will kind of warn us that that's coming. But remember, this is the part we want to look at when we trade. So, okay, so I'm trying to be cautious here. And it did seem to bounce higher than I was expecting here. It bounced a little bit higher than that orange line, and it's starting to go up. So I went back and I kind of adjusted the channel a little bit. So I was allowing for it to possibly go up just a little bit further than I had expected, but we're still really, really close. Okay, and then drop back down there again. It bounced again. So at this point, I was a little disappointed, quite disappointed. The only thing I was really thinking that might affect it, you can see on the 30-minute chart and also the 15 before, the MACDs look like they were ready to tip down, especially on the main chart. We're looking like we're dropping, but it hasn't really happened yet, and it's fighting that with everything it's got. So I'm waiting again to see what's going to happen up here. The other thing I'm noticing is that there is a divergence on the RSI. You can see here, no, let's see, it's actually right here. This peak is higher than that peak, but that coincides with this peak. That one coincides with this peak. Price action is higher, but the RSI peaks are lower. Now this is a really, really short term, so I don't give a lot of credence to that. But I did happen to notice on the 1 hour chart over here, we have the same kind of thing. We have a high peak and then a lower peak, even though the price action here is higher than this one. So this is losing momentum, and that looks like it's gaining it. And so usually the RSI will eventually win out. So that was another encouraging thing. And I did see another red candle develop. So I was hopeful that perhaps we would be dropping, but we did need to get through this orange, I guess you could it's acting like as a support line. So, or resistance level if you're in a short, so everything's flopped then. Alrighty, but it just kept wanting to go up. Drew in another price line here, and it bounced off of that orange SMA again. Still looks like the MACD is dropping, so I'm still hanging on to this short position. Okay, and this is kind of where I think it's going to go. And it has broken through now, and the MACD looks like it's tipping over, so that's very encouraging. I raised it up just a little, just a couple ticks above that point, and it went back up again. I would be concerned if it goes above this pink line at this point, so why I drew that in there. Okay, we're going to try another drop. Meanwhile, the MACD is kind of losing its downward momentum, and already here you can see a big hook, and here we've broken through the line that I drew there, which is the highest price. In fact, you can see that it's already gone above that so quickly that it hasn't even turned the colors yet to white from gray. So, and now I'm sitting at a $16 loss, $16.25, which is unfortunate, and I don't know that it's going to drop. So I keep thinking that maybe it will. Maybe I'll be able to get out even at break even. I'm happy at this point. So I keep raising my limit order to follow that gold line, and meanwhile it just keeps breaking through. This is why trading against the trend, even though it's at a resistance level, long-term resistance level, it takes a while, I think, for that to follow through, to change the trend. Especially when you really look at the bigger picture, and unfortunately I don't have the 4-hour chart up here yet, but you know, the bigger picture is we've been uptrending for years, and then just the last 2 or 3 months we've been downtrending, and so this is kind of a recovery point that is being affected by, I think, perhaps the longer term market. So kind of surprising. All right, so now the MACD is starting to look like it's tipping over again and possibly going to drop again, so I'm hopeful. So I need to readjust my limit order here. Okay, we're at the red SMA on the 4-hour chart. Okay, here we go. Here's the 4-hour chart. This is the other really strong resistance level that we kind of right at that point. And actually, I forgot to change the colors on this because this is like my first day of real trading. This is actually the 180-day, which I usually have as blue. So I've got my colors switched around up here. So this is a very strong resistance point, and so I'm surprised it hasn't started to show dropping yet, but we're getting really, really, really close. Okay, so now we've actually hit the top of that channel that I drew and adjusted, and I'm still hopeful that perhaps it's going to drop some more. And when it broke through that, and I was at, unfortunately, a $43 loss, I decided, yeah, I just don't know about this. I'm going to go ahead and do a long. So, and it's probably not the best place to do it because once it's broken through a pretty strong resistance level like that, it tends to drop right after that. And, you know, I just don't want to wait any longer. I maybe should have just gotten out at this point instead of going into a long. So it dipped back down just a little and it took my order and started to drop just like I was thinking that it might, but hoping it wouldn't. And the MACD is looking like it might be done dropping, kind of leveling out here. And now I'm starting to question, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. So I put in an exit order just enough to basically cover my commissions. So I wasn't sure what it was going to do at this point. So yeah, now it drops back down to that gold SMA. And I should have hung on to that just a little bit longer. Okay, it came out and I did another reverse order again. This is my second reverse order. And at this point, I was like, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. But it's 10:22 and I've only placed 1.5 trades And I am getting tired. The market is just not moving very fast this morning. So I'm sitting here, I'm just tired. I'm getting discouraged and second guessing myself. And that happens sometimes on days that are really, really slow. So, I did a reverse thinking that it would drop at this point. I could kind of see a little bit of a curve here. It's like, okay, well, maybe I was right in the first place. I don't know. And so I reversed, and then it starts to go up, of course, because that was probably not the best move. It is an uptrending market. So here I was hopeful. We kind of hit a plateau up here, and I'm looking for maybe a drop. Okay, now it actually went down below where I got in and bounced again. So, okay, I'm hanging on to this short here. And at this point, it's broken through that gold SMA here. And I'm really hopeful that it might have a drop now, finally. It's really looking like maybe, but the MACD is really low all of a sudden. Okay, so I decided this was good enough. It kind of bounced off that red line. I put in my exit order here. So I'm making $12.50 with that trade. Okay, now here I'm kind of going to go into a short. So it was basically a reverse last time. I just did it in two pieces, which is a little safer. So it, you can see it bounced up, and on the fall back down, I'm going to go ahead and grab another short. And this is 11/16, so this is like a long time later. Okay, so I'm sitting at a $30 loss, and I'm in a short here now. And it's kind of leveled off. Then it goes up a little bit, and I'm thinking, oh no, here we go again. But then it came back down. Okay, even just right here, it's not asking that much here. Just drop back down, or maybe right here even. I picked this particular spot because of this 30-minute chart, the SMA on the 30-minute chart here. Seemed to be kind of a reasonable spot. And also, by the time it gets down there, the blue SMA will probably be up to that point. Same thing here. So that's kind of why I chose that particular spot. Okay, now we're getting this nice big drop that I was looking for. Oh yeah, this is nice. Okay, and then I went ahead and just got out. And that was 4 trades. I traded till 12:21 today, and it was just about more than I could take. And I ended up at a loss today of $13.75, and 4 trades. I calculated it out with the MES. Okay, so it's $5.24 for every trade that I make. Going in and then getting back out again. It costs me $5.24. So if you take $5.24 times 4 trades, that means I spent $20.96 in commissions. So you have to add that to my losses, which gives us a grand total of $34.71 that I've lost today. And I kind of knew trading this would be tricky. And unfortunately, this is one of those days where I didn't really make any money, and I spent all of it in commissions. So hopefully tomorrow will be better. Hopefully we'll start to see some clarity as to which direction it's going, that it will show that it's a peak. It peaked out and dropped. As of right now, it kind of looks like it might be, but I'm very skeptical anymore because of all of the upward momentum that we've had.